come on and slam. Welcome to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds. Yes, sir, we're going to be talking about Space Jam 2 and our thoughts about it. We are one nerd short, but that doesn't mean that this issue is not going to be action-packed. Guys, let's roll the intro and start the issue! Coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, in the heart of Uptown Whittier. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue 57. My name is Bryan.
I'm Nick. And welcome to the show. Yes, guys, welcome to the Fortress of Geekitude. We're not filming or recording at the Hall of Nerdom, unfortunately, because we are one nerd short today.
He had the keys.
Okay, this is getting hot. This is a good bit, but. If I can take this on.
This is my favorite spot in the Citadel.
My name is Commander Shepard. Well, this is my favorite spot in the Citadel.
Time to save the universe. This is really sick.
If people watch us,
is this worth $140?
Oh yeah, I think so. It didn't come with the game. That's the only unfortunate thing.
All right, guys, would you buy this for $140? Look, it has lights. It has like.
So does this one. You know that, right?
Look, it has lights. It has lights. That has lights too. To take the mask off.
The breather.
What is this?
Yeah.
The things Bryan wastes his money on.
The things I collect is better. That's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, whatever helps you sleep at night.
If you guys do not know, we are showing visuals on our YouTube channel. So if you guys are audio platform listeners, you know, you can find our issues on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and I forget what else. All the audio platforms. We do have our podcasts also uploaded on our YouTube website or on our YouTube. Oh my God, I can't speak today, man. No. Well, I mean, it's freaking hot. We're recording here. There's no AC to help with the audio. But if you guys are interested in looking at our visual podcast, we do have it on our YouTube channel, Keeping Up with the Nerds, and our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com, where you guys can see all our up-to-date information on videos, podcast releases, everything that you guys want to know on that website. Follow us on our socials, Keeping Up with the Nerds on Instagram and Twitter. Rene does an excellent job of uploading everything on there and letting you guys know when things go live. With that said, are we ready to kick off this issue?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, did you shower just before I got here? Because you smell delightful.
Do I really?
Yeah, you
No,
smell
I
delightful.
didn't. I showered.
Usually when we're in the studio, we're not sitting
this close to one another
on each other's laps.
No cussing! Just because Renee's not here doesn't mean you can't cuss.
Dude, that means that's exactly what.
No, it doesn't, because that means I have to edit it.
We're in the Temple of Nerditude or whatever the
Fortress of Geekitude.
Yeah, that thing.
A Fortress of Geekitude.
It needs a sign somewhere. We can't. I don't know. But
there's a lot of stuff already in here.
There's so much stuff in here.
Oh my God, and it's freaking hot in here.
This is actually, I've known Bryan for years now, and the funny thing is that this is the first time I've ever been welcomed into his home.
Have you really?
So yes.
Well,
this is the first time I've
okay, when we first met, I was still living with my mom. This was like years and years ago. This is almost, I think we've almost known each other probably 8 years.
This happened 8 years?
20.
In case you hear a bell, and it sounds like somebody's just like eating something.
Come here.
That's his dog.
Come here. Hey.
He's adorable.
Come here.
And he loves donuts, apparently.
Can I pick you up?
But, yeah, so I've known Bryan for about 8 years. This is the first time I've ever been welcomed into his house. And I feel like the only reason is because Renee's not here and we had no other choice.
No, yeah. You forced my hand.
Thank you, Rene, for forcing his hand.
Just to get started on our issue, we do have a pretty good, decently sized topic to talk about. Yeah. Yes, you were already on camera, buddy. Do you want to come back up here?
You want to sit on our laps? That's
you can come back up here. No one's stopping you, dude.
Sit on the lap. Let's do this.
Come here. No? Okay, fine. Whatever. Yes, so, yeah, we said we're nerd short, so it's just the two of us here. You did force my hand for you to come over to the Fortress of Geekitude now.
Well, this is delightful.
It's good, right? We're drinking Mountain Dews.
This is delightful. Wait, what the heck? Baja Flash?
I got Baja Punch.
Dude, this is Bob. This is really good.
There's more, so if you finish that one, you can get
It
another one.
tastes like a pina colada mixed with Mountain Dew.
That's why it's pineapple coconut, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Did you forget what pina coladas taste like?
No, but I mean, sometimes like the coconut's like overpowering and like everything like that, and like I didn't really know what I was gonna expect. I honestly thought I was gonna get like some like really disgusting soda right now, and I was gonna just be forced to drink it on camera.
You know what I just realized? This is gonna be the most chaotic issue. Issue 57 is going to be like the issue where we have a topic to talk about and we're going to spend like 20 minutes not discussing it because we're going to be randomly discussing like weird stuff. Mountain Dews, helmets, messing up our lines.
Because the only person
bootleg Crypto Joey.
The only person that keeps us on topic
is Rene. That's why he's in the computer. That's why he's the main man in the computer.
That's why he's the man in the chair.
Rene, come back! What if we gave Rene a call during the podcast?
I mean, honestly, he's on vacation.
But we can, though. I mean, what's he going to do? What is he going to do? What would he catch him doing?
The funniest thing possible would be if he picks up that phone and drops an F-bomb. Honestly, funniest thing I can think of is he answers the phone and drops an F-bomb immediately. And just goes, you done? I want that so bad.
All right, fine. Maybe we'll give Rene a surprise call halfway through the issue.
Yeah, once we start getting through it. But back to Space Jam.
We haven't even started Space Jam. What do you mean back to Space Jam? We haven't even started.
Okay, so let's start with Space Jam.
Space Jam 2 came out
It's
2
a
weeks
Space
ago.
Jam on the
You can't sing that because the song didn't appear or didn't make an appearance.
Yeah, I know. So that means that I can sing it all I want.
That's true. I mean, we can't get copyrighted, though.
Can't get copyrighted.
Hopefully not.
I mean, I sang it terribly.
Sure. I mean, yeah, that doesn't stop YouTube algorithm or YouTube like censor bots and stuff like that.
Okay, so I have a question though. So Space Jam had not only a awesome soundtrack, it had a pretty.
We're talking about the first one.
First one.
Okay.
First one. This one actually had a really lame soundtrack. I did not like the soundtrack.
If we're talking about the soundtrack, okay, yeah, sure. When we think about Space Jam, the first thing that comes to mind is
soundtrack.
Exactly, because the opening song is like.
It slaps.
Exactly.
Dude, it's amazing.
Come on and jam, and welcome to the slam. Is it slam or jam?
I don't know.
Come on and jam or slam. I don't know.
Do you want me to look up the lyrics?
Please. Can we blame this on the heat and say that we're just delusional and that's why we couldn't figure out what the lyrics were?
Wait, what is the name of the song?
Space Jam song, dude. Just look it up.
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm sorry. I should stop.
Yeah, okay, so everybody get up. It's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down.
Yeah, but it's the come on and jam part.
Okay, so come on and slam.
And welcome to the jam.
Come on and slam if you want to jam.
Hell yeah. That song slapped.
Why does it sound like sex?
That's what you think of? Automatically, you just ruined the entire song for people.
I mean...
I don't think so.
I mean, at least it wasn't written by R. Kelly, so that's good.
Well, who was it written by?
Quad City DJs?
Hold up. When did this movie come out? 1990... You just had it.
I know, and then I backed out.
Yeah, I was like, why did you have to back out when you just like had all this stuff, all this info?
Don't you yell at me. Don't yell at me. I get
94? 96?
96.
Okay, so you were born 92?
Yes.
I was born 93, so
I was 4 years.
3... I mean, I think when I first watched Space Jam, I was probably like kindergarten, first grade, so maybe around like 99 or 2001 is when I watched it.
I had an older brother, so that's how I got to watch it.
So the impact that Space Jam, the first one, did for me was I was a big fan of the Looney Tunes. So
was I.
To see like animation in real life get together in this type of movie was just awesome.
Yes. I'm
even going to say, I'm going to go as far back and say that Who Framed Mr. Roger Rabbit, or Who Framed Roger Rabbit, was probably the first of its kind that I watched. And so that's why...
Ironically, mine's reversed. I watched
Space Jam and then Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, yeah. Because Who Framed Roger Rabbit that's a deep cut.
That's
For like a 5-year-old to watch?
Oh, well, yeah.
For like a 5 or a 6-year-old to watch? Like, that's bad parenting.
The context and stuff that you have in that movie, yeah, no, I can see that.
That's bad parenting.
But I think it was because I watched it because it was animation in real life. I didn't think so much about it, you know?
Yes.
But Space Jam was more accessible because, I mean, what wrong can the Looney Tunes really do?
True.
Well,
True.
quote unquote, what wrong can they do? Because now apparently they can do a lot wrong.
Yes.
It's a lot more censored now. But for me, the first movie, as far as I can remember, I recently watched it actually not that long ago, a couple months back.
It's still good.
It's still good.
It's still good.
But I watched it because my fiance's never seen it.
What?
Yeah. She didn't grow up watching it, so I showed it to her, and it was on. I think I might have rented it before HBO picked it up.
HBO Max has it. Right
HBO Max has it now. They didn't back then.
Right.
And so I had to rent it, and we watched it, and she freaking loved it. She was like, "Oh my god, like it's just so great." I'm like, "Yeah, but why is it that movie stands up so well even like now?"
It has a very basic premise, but the premise of it is. It's so simplistic that anyone could get it. Not only that, but also the music is so welcoming to you that it almost kind of doesn't matter what's on the screen. The music just encapsulates you. It captures you. It captures your imagination. It gets you it makes you want to get up. It makes you want to get involved in this like thing.
It really brought you into the kind of like world of basketball, wanting to know more about it.
Yeah, not only that, but also I really enjoyed that idea of like Michael Jordan not knowing who he is. Like, who am I after basketball?
If remind me again. So the premise of Space Jam is that he's retiring, or he retired.
He is joining the A's. He's in baseball now.
Okay.
So he's already won his championships. He's already played for the Bulls. He's already done everything like that, everything else, and then this is when he retires and then goes to baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's supposed to be that explanation of why Michael Jordan quits baseball and goes back to the Bulls, because that actually happened in real life, where Michael Jordan leaves, he leaves, and then he goes back to the Bulls.
Okay.
Afterwards, and it also makes it kind of a joke about real life, because like Michael's not exactly doing the best in baseball. He's average. He's an average player.
Because I remember that the Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny basically challenges the Minions, the little gremlin monsters, the Monstars, which they turn out to be, to a basketball game, and he thinks that Michael Jordan's going to be like their all-star, but he pretty much is retired, so they're trying to convince him to go back and play again. So I think, honestly, I don't think it's just the music and the premise that really makes it stand out, because I was looking at the Rotten Tomato score, and I'm going to bring this back when we talk about Space Jam 2, but because Space Jam 2 has some controversy to it in terms of like how it's standing up, how it's performing out there. It's performing really well because it got like 30-something million in its first opening weekend.
I think it was like number one
for like 2 weeks. Yeah.
So
it's doing well, but I think the reception is where it's getting a little bit of its controversy. But Space Jam, looking back at it, it's, for me personally, oh man, I just lost my train of thought. I think it's like, I wanted to say that basically the fact that like it had all these, it basically had its own story with the Looney Tunes is what I'm trying to say. You know, because like when you think about a Looney Tunes cartoon, they're like what, 7 to 12 minutes of just kind of shorts of like their own little adventure.
Well, the thing that also is really interesting in that, the thing that I think that works better inside of Space Jam 1 is the fact that it's a Looney Tune problem, and they've pulled Michael Jordan into their issue.
It's a Looney Tunes problem that expands in about an hour into an hour movie.
Yes. It's a Looney Tunes, like episode. That's an hour and a half, and then they grab Michael Jordan in. Whereas, the new one is like, it's a human problem, and then the Looney Tunes just kind of happen to be brought in because Bugs manipulated everything. We'll get into it, but I think that's why the movie works so much, is because it's like, of course the Looney Tunes would bring in Michael Jordan. They're Looney Tunes. They're wacky. They anything can happen in a Looney Tunes cartoon, even just bringing in Michael Jordan and everything else. And it's this idea of, okay, so we need to train them, because there was like a whole training montage. There's a whole like everything. Like it was a full blown sports movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's what it was. That's what the language I was trying to use. It is a sports movie.
because he's basically like the all-star coach getting like the worst team in the world, and then Michael Jordan is then forced to, how exactly do I use my players to their best potential, and I think that's kind of an interesting idea. Of how do I get the Looney Tunes to perform well?
So we can both agree that we both liked the OG.
Dude, I love that movie.
Space Jam.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to that. I put that soundtrack on the way here. I was jamming to it. It was good.
So thinking about this the old Space Jam, we get the new Space Jam with LeBron James, right? And this movie was announced probably like about 3 years ago, if anything, back in like 2018.
I think.
And they had to stop production because of COVID, because this movie was supposed to come out last year.
Well, not only did COVID, but I think it also went through like several rewrites.
When did the Lakers win their championship? Was it last year?
Yes.
2020. So that was when they were still filming it. Because LeBron, from what I remember, the Lakers, not during the playoffs, is like before the playoffs.
He wasn't there.
He wasn't there for part of it because he was filming Space Jam.
Yes.
So then they were filming in 2020. So the movie was announced in 2019.
It was like, no, it was announced in like it was announced in like 2016, and like that was like we're making a sequel to Space Jam with LeBron James, and then it went through like several rewrites, and then they finally like finalized the deal in like 2018, 2019, and then they started filming 2020, and then they finished it, and then the movie comes out in 2021.
Okay. Point being, they announced it. People were excited. I don't think people were as excited over the fact that LeBron James was the star, because there's a lot of people that don't like him. But I think overall the consensus was that we were getting another Space Jam movie, and would you say that you were pretty excited for it to come out?
I wanted to see Bugs again.
Okay.
I wanted to see Bugs.
You wanted to see the old
gang.
G Squad, right?
Yeah, I wanted to see Bugs in the gang again.
Okay, cool. Movie comes out, and we watch it.
Right.
Overall opinion for me, because I know you're going to tear this one apart.
Oh, damn.
Either be a good or bad. I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't think it was that special of a movie. I think that if you were a fan of the old Space Jam and you're getting a sequel, I don't think it was a masterpiece, nor did it do the first one justice. I think that as it stands, it's a decent movie that you can put kids in front of and be like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I can really enjoy this movie. It's got a good, wholesome message.
Right.
I wasn't expecting much of the acting because Michael Jordan was not a phenomenal actor, and LeBron James was as bad. He didn't sell a single line to me.
Right.
But you still got to see a lot of the Looney Tune antics.
Right.
And I think that when you separate, and again, it's unfair because you can't separate components of a movie and say that this movie is good because only this part was good.
Right.
When you separate the Looney Tunes from the sports aspect of it, you still had that kind of like very old school Looney Tunes mentality, just modernized. I personally like the fact when Bugs was trying to get the spoilers. We're going to get into spoilers territory, by the way. So,
right.
If you guys have not seen Space Jam 2, pause the podcast, come back after you've seen it, and,
Go
you
to
guys, yeah.
Go to the HBO Go.
It's on there.
Go to the movies. Movies are nice, man.
Yeah, now, yeah. But my favorite part for Space Jam in the beginning was when Bugs is trying to get a ship to go and pick up his friends. And he stakes a flag on a little island. He's like, I claim this land, I claim this land in the name of Earth. And then immediately, you already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Marvin the Martian.
It's an old antic,
It is an old antic.
Yeah.
But so here's my thinking for it. I get the idea of LeBron James being forced to get sucked into the Warnerverse. Because I feel like this movie was rewritten after Ready Player One succeeded so much.
Yes.
I feel like Warner Brothers hit a home run with Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. But then I felt like Warner Brothers didn't understand why Ready Player One was good.
Yes.
Like their understanding of Ready Player One was everybody loved it because there was a lot of nostalgia in it. And then they just went, cool, that's what we'll do with we'll just do that with Space Jam. We'll just throw all that in there. We'll make callbacks to Westeros. We'll make DC references. We'll just every single license or IP that we own, or have partnerships with, I'm going to throw into this movie.
Because Space Jam was very reference heavy. The second one was very reference heavy.
And I feel like that's what kind of pulled me out of this movie. Because I really liked the first one, because it's like, I was brought into the Looney Tunes world. Like, because the way that they made it sound is like, oh yeah, like under the earth is like the Looney Tunes live.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one was like, yeah, no, actually the Looney Tunes live on a server. And that's where they live and stuff like I feel like they because they mentioned the old movie.
No. Okay, so did you hear about that? There's like a theory about this whole like how the Looney Tunes, that this version of the Looney Tunes is completely different than the version of the Looney Tunes we see in Space Jam, the first one, because the first one, like you said, were found in the center of the earth, and that's where the tunes, that's where the Toonverse is at, right? That's where they exist. And these tunes actually exist in the servers. They're more modernized. They're computerized, right? So the only reason they know about what's going on is because they have some kind of connection to the tunes that live in the earth, but they're not necessarily the ones that were appearing in the first Space Jam, because they're drawn differently, or they exist differently.
I feel like whoever wrote
that theory?
But also whoever wrote this movie, I thought it's Space Jam. No one's going to think about it too hard.
No one is. I mean, if you really do, you're not really going to enjoy the movie. You're just going to be like nitpicking everything. It's not supposed to be Inception.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be a Christopher Nolan film or, a Ridley Scott movie.
Had to do it again.
I just...
Had to do it again. Millions of directors.
Every issue from now here on out, we're just going to mention his name.
All the directors in the world, and you went with...
I mean, who else am I going to think about? Ridley Scott? He doesn't really have that many, that big of a brainbuster kind of movie.
M. Night Shyamalan.
They're just beautiful. Huh?
M. Night Shyamalan.
That doesn't count. M. Night Shyamalan, no. I have my things on M. Night Shyamalan. Should we go watch Old?
We could.
I kind of want to. I want to see how bad of a movie that is. I like him, but I also don't.
I've heard a lot of people not like it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I mean, it's M. Night Shyamalan. Like, most people say it's like, oh, Post Signs, he doesn't work. I mean, yeah, but sure, but why not? Like, I mean, to each his own. If you like his movies. Oh, what was that movie, Split?
Split was not bad.
Yeah, that's what people say. Split wasn't bad.
Split's not bad. Neither is
that Broken movie.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it's in that same universe.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was funny because a little off topic. I was talking to my students, and one of the girls, she's never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie. So
don't talk about that.
So what ended up happening?
No, why are you talking about it?
Oh, because what she's been doing, because my students have free time.
Okay.
So me and her talked about it, and she was like, "What about if they just watch like a TV show?" And she was like, "Well, what TV show should they watch?" And I go, "Well, let's show them Airbender."
Okay.
We'll start episode 1, and then throughout the summer, we'll just keep watching Airbender.
Okay.
So like every day, we'll watch an episode of watch like an episode or 2 of Airbender. So right now, I think they just got to Ba Sing Se.
Oh, they're barely at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've barely gotten to season 2. That's not the point. So then she was like, "Yeah, the students found the movie and they wanted to watch it," and then I go, "It's okay. We don't need to do that. Like they've already seen what happens in the movie. Like they've already whatever happens in the movie, it happened in the TV show. They've already long passed it. Let's not ruin their hopes and dreams with this movie."
Do you remember watching that movie for the first time? I've never finished it.
I remember I got a bootleg copy of that movie when I was in high school, and then I was mad at the guy that sold me bootlegs.
Because he gave you a bad bootleg of a bad bootleg?
No, he gave me a good bootleg of a bad movie. And I got mad at him because he didn't tell me no. I was like,
what do you think he was gonna do? Watch his own movies and be like, you know what? I don't want to recommend this movie to you.
I was so upset that I was like, dude, I thought we were friends.
So you finished the whole thing, right?
The movie?
Yeah. Did you finish the whole movie?
Avatar?
Yeah. The Last Airbender?
I think I got 45 minutes in.
And then you stopped.
Probably.
Did you ever finish it?
I think so. Why?
Because I never finished it.
I think I've only seen bits and pieces of it.
I got up to the part where they go to the Earth Kingdom and then they started doing these weird dance moves and then lifting rocks. And that's why I paused and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
Oh, you mean the 35 moves that they made to then go,
To throw one pebble.
To throw a pebble.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember
That pissed me off so freaking much. I was over and done with it.
I remember seeing that and just going like, oh, M. Night Shyamalan didn't understand this like at all. Like, not only did he not understand it, but like he didn't ask like a single question.
The worst part.
Like to the creators. Like,
the worst part. Ong.
Oh my god. Like,
can we stop talking about this movie and go back to Space Jam, please?
I mean, they're both bad movies. I mean, it's
Space Jam 2? I wouldn't compare it to The Last Airbender.
It's not The Last Airbender. Okay, it's not.
Okay, so what did you think of Space Jam 2? Because we can already assume you don't like it.
It's not that I didn't like it. I think I was upset because I didn't have as much fun with it.
Okay.
Like, I'm okay with a bad movie because let's be honest, Space Jam 1 isn't exactly like a cinematic like Marvel.
No, it's a kids movie.
But it's fun.
Yes.
It's a fun movie.
Yes.
Like, anybody can sit down and enjoy that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this one, it pandered too much to kids, and then it was just like adults like references to the things they loved.
Okay.
Like, it once again, it felt like a boardroom made a bunch of decisions and then gave it to a director and then went, make me a movie.
So, did you not like the fact that certain tunes were in, like, popular Warner Brothers media?
What do you mean?
So, like, for me, I'll admit it, my favorite tune was Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote and Mad Max.
Yes, that's hilarious.
That part was just genius.
Okay, I actually thought that was an ingenious move.
Yeah.
I thought that was so genius.
Or Granny and Speedy and
in Matrix.
Yeah.
I thought I was like, oh yeah, what a perfect way of you talking about these different universes and then forcing us to go to them.
Yes.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. That's whatever.
It was the references that you saw during the match that just threw you off. Like, it was just constant.
Not only that, but also I felt like...
Or Rick and Morty, too.
Yeah, but I also felt like the biggest danger came to, the tunes. Like, the tunes were kind of getting, like, the most danger out of this. Not only that, but also I did not like the fact that... Because I know Bugs is sneaky, but I don't... But, like, they kind of just brush over the fact that Bugs is using LeBron James.
Yeah.
They just kind of brush over it. And I didn't like that because Bugs Bunny in the first one, like, yeah, he's manipulative, but, like, and he's manipulating Michael to, like, helping them. But he's, like, legitimately afraid. Like, there's even that, like, right when when Michael Jordan, like, lands, he's, like, he's giving him basically the rundown, the exposition to get him caught up to what's happened in the movie so far on their end. And he's going, like, no, we need your help. Mm-hmm. Like, we thought that the only reason we chose basketball is because they're short, they have little stubby arms, and we thought, oh, we'll just dunk on them. Like,
but isn't it like reversed? Like, that's what you're saying, right? Is that this is a reverse play? Because in the original Space Jam, the tunes used basketball,
right,
to outplay the Monstars,
right,
and now LeBron is playing Bugs, but Bugs is reverse playing LeBron to get his team back. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a twist on a twist.
It's a twist on a twist, and it kind of doesn't work. It kind of doesn't work. It falls flat.
Okay.
It really, you have to give it that. It does fall a little flat.
Yeah, it does. It does. It just, for me personally, if you're talking about the story just didn't feel constructive enough. Like, it just felt like trying to put Lego pieces together when they don't fit, and the way you make it work is by gluing them together and thinking that that's how it's gonna work.
But that's my point though. I feel like what they did is they got 5 ideas from 4 different scripts, and then just put the Looney Tunes in those situations, and then like let it sit.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, like, to be totally honest, I actually kind of like the LeBron James and his son storyline. Like, I love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a cool idea. What was it? And like the fact that it was like a video game. Like, this is how.
Oh, hold up. We will be right back because the video cut. And we're back.
Yeah.
Video back.
Yeah, video back. If the audio may have continued, but the video may have stopped. What was that?
You like the fact that LeBron and their son had a
Oh,
quarrel.
yeah.
And it was video game based.
And the video game based, that was kind of cool too, because, like, But once again, that feels like a boardroom decision. Like, what's in right now? Video games. Hi.
Welcome,
buddy.
welcome to the slam.
You're just showing your butt to the
Are you here to jam?
You just yes.
He's like, yes, please love me.
So anyway,
Come here.
No,
Oh, you've chosen your path then.
he's chosen. He chose correctly. Anyway.
Asshole. Ya jerk.
Oh yeah, you like me more than Daddy? You.
All right, the door's that way, buddy.
Go home with him, then he can feed you.
Say how you like it then, huh?
But also I felt like there wasn't a bigger, like, okay, so the idea that people are just gonna get like portaled into like Space Jam world and then like now they're trapped.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting idea, but also I kind of don't care about these people.
Because there was no consequence.
There's no consequence. Like it's a thousand random faces.
Because you already know that the movie's gonna end well.
Yes.
That's the thing. So like I get it. I understand where you're coming from in that sense. Because it's just, yeah, now that I think about it, yeah, you're right. Because it does feel like this is one story, this is another story. They try to mix it together, and then you expect it to somehow work.
Yeah, like
but
it
doesn't.
Yeah, like it was 5 failed scripts,
Mm-hmm.
and then they got like 5 pieces that were kind of interesting and kind of cool. They would kind of fit, and then they smashed them together, and then went cool.
Mm-hmm.
Put the Looney Tunes in it, LeBron James, and we're solid.
Now let me put this out there. So this again, we when we talk about Space Jam, we have to understand that Space Jam, even the original, was a kids movie, right? This is a kids movie. This is a movie that you make that maybe like, I would say like
with a lot of adult references.
There's the first one.
There's a
oh well,
lot
yeah.
of
I mean, but that's the Looney Tunes, like
That's true.
for like years in the 90s. I mean, come on, like Bugs cross dresses like half the time, and like.
Well, I mean, because what was it like? I think there's a scene in it's the scene where they're going to. They've kidnapped Jordan, and then he then says, "You have to go to my house and pick up my lucky sneakers and my shorts."
Okay.
And then Donald Duck, he pushes
Daffy Duck.
No, yes, Daffy. Sorry,
Daffy.
Daffy goes into Michael Jordan's house, and then he like is going like, "Wow, look at the size of this shoe. You know what that means, right?"
Oh, that's right.
And then all of a sudden, like Porky Pig then turns to him and he goes, "Yeah, he must have huge socks."
I remember. But that's the Looney Tunes for you. It's like they have a lot of like, adult references and stuff. But again, this is a kids movie, right?
It is.
So I feel like a lot of the people come to Space Jam's 2 defense and says like, well, it's poorly constructed because it is a kids movie. But that, for me personally, I don't think it's a good enough defense because you're still referencing a lot of adult properties that Warner Brother has. No kid's gonna know
Game of Thrones.
Exactly. The rooster riding a dragon from Game of Thrones as he's dressed up as the princess chick, whatever her name is. Daenerys, yeah. You're not going to know.
Have you never watched Game of Thrones?
I'm going to start. Yeah, I didn't care for it. I'm a sci-fi person, not
I can't wait until after like you've watched a couple of seasons and then you're just like, I love this character.
And they die.
I love this character. This character's awesome. And then like a couple of days later, you're just like, oh, why would they do that to me?
That's what I've been told.
But that's besides the point. But here's my thing though. I felt like in one there was an actual consequence. Mm-hmm. There was an actual villain, because
they wanted to capture the Toons and keep them prisoners.
Yes.
Whereas this one, it's like there's not really.
We're just going to delete you.
Yeah.
We're just going to delete the Toons.
Exactly. You're irrelevant.
You're irrelevant. You're not important.
It didn't feel like a consequence because you already knew the outcome of what was going to happen.
Not only that, but also I thought it was interesting because also Jordan had a reason to play, mm-hmm. because they stole the talent of his friends. Mm-hmm. They stole the talent of like major NBA stars. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that was so interesting. The idea of somebody stealing away your talent. They're using it in this game to, do evil. But periodically throughout this movie, we check back in with them and how they're doing. Like,
yeah.
Like they're in like they're
They're in
getting,
complete daze. They don't know what's going on.
Well, they're not only are they in complete daze, but like they're going to psychiatrists. They're going like they're getting like what was it, like medical checks on them, and they're all talking about it and everything like that. And it's actually having an effect on the world where it's like, you know, the NBA is paused because like nobody knows how people lost their talent and everything like that. And then like other people are like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna go inside. I don't care what it is, but there might be a fungus in there that's like gonna steal away my talent. And the idea that Michael Jordan is like playing is so that way he can gain this talent back and everything else. And that also leads to a really cool resolution at the very end where Michael plays them, where he gives back the talent to them and everything like that. And then, you know, that kind of gives him the idea of like, oh, I'm going to get back into the NBA.
So this goes back to the point that you're making, that it's a sports movie, because you have very talented, you know, they were already past their prime, you know, quote unquote, like a little bit past their prime, but you had prominent basketball players in that era, right?
Yes.
This one, I feel like the only person they really referenced celebrity-wise
AD
was, Anthony Davis. And it's like, okay, well, I know that the other ones probably could have been some big names. Were they, or were they just kind of like, because they didn't even mention the names.
They're big inside of the,
Sorry.
Silence your phones.
Zordon, what do you want?
Silence your phone.
I'm sorry.
You yelled at me like for an hour last
You want to yell at me right now?
Yell.
Good job.
So anyway, but the thing is that you had a lot of, like, some of them are like really famous, are really popular. Not only that, but I think they were also like Olympians and stuff like that, which makes it okay. That's fine. I don't mind that.
But they didn't give them names. That's the problem. Is that if you didn't know who they were, you're never gonna know. You have to look them up. Like the other ones, they at least mentioned them. Like, you know who Charles Barkley is.
Yes.
But did you know everyone else? No, but at least they mentioned their names there, and they had the teams in which they played in.
Not only that, but also I think the cool part about the Monstars, though, was that even though they were hyper realistic monsters, they still played like Charles Barkley. They played like, you know, everybody else. Like they had their motions, they had everything like that. In this one, because it's so hyper realistic with like them being fused in with like animals and stuff like that, which is also a weird choice. It's such a weird
mechanic, yeah.
It's such a weird choice.
They try to hide it with like, it being a game mechanic, but it's like, okay, sure. Like, what does a snake have to do with basketball? I get like a tarantula,
but not only that, but also it didn't show me that person's talent.
Okay.
It doesn't show me how good they are because the snake portion of them or the bird portion of them is being featured more prominently.
So Anthony Davis's was the eagle.
He was the eagle.
But now that you mentioned, you had to literally remind me that they had, like, you know, powers in that sense, because I completely forgot. Even this the Monstars at least looked like the athletes.
They looked.
These just kind of looked like they had only like one feature.
But the thing is that not only did they look like the athletes, they also took on their personalities.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting because I thought that was always really funny. Like I forget which one it is.
Are you talking about the tall one?
No, the really short one. Inside of
the one that was never mind. I thought it was like the one that was the Charles Barkley, but it wasn't him, was it?
No. But
the 5'4" one,
yeah,
the really tiny one.
The really tiny one. He's and like because that's something you don't really see inside of basketball.
Yeah.
But I thought that was always really interesting, just because if you listen to that player's interviews and stuff like that, he has that stutter. He has that stutter where he's like, yeah, man, you know, and he has that high pitched voice. And, like, you know, just the way he talks and, like, the way he's, like, kind of moving his hands and everything like that, you're like, oh, like, that's him. Mm-hmm. Like, you, like, that, and also it felt like when you're looking back at the players, you're going, oh, man, like, they ripped basically, like, their soul out of them. Mm-hmm. Like, everything that made them is now gone, and, like, they're empty inside. And I felt like that was more stakes than not only that, but also the Moron Mountain. That little tiny cartoon where it's just like, oh yeah, like you're going to be playing one-on-one for the rest of your life, forced to lose every single time for little kids. And like it showed you like that little tiny thing and like him like chained to a wall and he can't do anything about it. And I felt like that added more stakes to the situation.
Now, there is another celebrity cameo that happened in this one, similar to what happened in the first one. which is Bill Murray in the first one. Bill Murray made an appearance twice.
Right, twice.
He made an appearance twice. He made an appearance when he was playing golf with Michael Jordan. And
Right.
then he pops out of nowhere and says, like, yeah, I can sub in and play basketball for a bit.
He does like 2 plays.
Exactly. And then he's like, I can't do it anymore. This one had a celebrity cameo, which was Michael B. Jordan. And the whole joke on it was Sylvester comes out and he says, oh, I found Michael Jordan. He's coming back. He's going to help us out. But he brings in Michael B. Jordan instead of Michael A. Jordan.
Right.
And there's that whole joke about it and stuff like that. And you got an opinion on that?
I'm not gonna lie. I know Rene told us that happened.
Did he really?
He did. He told me that happened.
Oh, okay. Told you. He didn't tell me.
I know he told me that like there is a scene where Michael B. Jordan shows up, and then I was like, okay, that's fine. And I thought that was a funny joke when Rene told it to me. Then I'm watching the movie, and like the entire movie, I'm just going like, oh come on, Mike's got to show up. Mike has to show up. Like even in the stands. Or something like that. Like, easiest way to get Michael Jordan in this movie and to have, like, a use for him is have him as an announcer.
But they didn't even do that.
Like, have him as an announcer, but not only that, but also have him as an announcer and then also telling, like, while going through it, giving the stats of, like, Bugs Bunny and stuff like that, going like, oh, yeah, like, you know, he does this. Last time I played with him, like, his reach was insane and everything like that would have been so interesting to have, like, Michael Jordan as the announcer. And I get it. They had, like, a prominent announcer from the NBA and a comedian. Mm-hmm. Makes total sense. Mm-hmm. That's, you know, we needed to make this funny. I feel like the Michael Jordan thing, as soon as I saw Michael B. Jordan show up, I just got so mad at the movie.
Well, because it played you. Because that's the thing is that I think
so
that it
mad.
tried so hard to, like, get the folks that grew up watching the original to, like, make you love it. Like, it tried to reel you in with this kind of, like, thought that we could possibly revisit the old movie.
Right.
They referenced it like 4 times before Michael B. Jordan shows up. They said like, oh yeah, we've done this before. It feels like a flashback kind of thing. They keep teasing at it. Then they say like, oh, Michael Jordan, he's here, and talks about it for like a solid 30 seconds. And then shows up and it's nobody. And it's I'm sorry, excuse me, not that he's nobody, but but like it's not the Jordan you wanted.
It's not the Jordan I wanted. Not only that, but also Sylvester has like one of like, it's kind of like the silliest line in the movie where they were just like, you thought, the last time we saw him was 25 years ago, you thought this was Michael Jordan? And then Sylvester turns and he goes, I thought he aged really well.
Do you really think that Michael Jordan just turned down the offer? Do you think that he was probably offered like, hey, do you want to show up real quick and make a cameo for like at least like a day or something?
You know what the funny thing is? I'm unsure of whether or not they gave it to him, or if they thought about it and they were just like, kids wouldn't know who this is.
Which would be sad.
Like,
but even still, like, they should know who the audience is. They didn't make $30 million in a weekend just because
children.
Exactly.
It was their parents that went to go see.
Exactly.
But I don't know. It could be that Michael Jordan maybe read the script and he was just like, I'm not into it. Or conflicts with COVID and everything like that. I mean, Michael Jordan is older. Mm-hmm. I think he's like up there in his like 60s.
That's why we have the internet.
I'm almost positive he's in his 60s now.
Okay.
Because in the 90s he was like in his like 20s, late 30, almost 30. Mm-hmm. And it's 20 years later, so he's definitely got to be in his 50s, maybe early 60s. That's what I would imagine.
Well, let's look it up.
But having all of that...
58, you're wrong.
I said in his 50s, early 60s.
I thought you said early 60s.
That's still close to early 60s.
Sure, whatever. Anyways, go on with your point.
Whatever. But I mean, I can understand that maybe COVID was a thing where, like, Michael Jordan. I mean, this was filmed prior to the vaccine. This is filmed everything like that. There's still a lockdown and everything else there, and they're filming on with COVID protocols, but also.
Thanks, buddy. We're recording over here. Jerk.
And this is what I'm talking about. That man doesn't even know he yelled at him. And
he's gonna go home and pretend nothing happened.
And you can't yell at someone if they don't know you're mad at them.
If I open the window, I can.
He's gone now.
Oh, well, it could have been better if you. Okay, sure. Anyways, go
With
back.
the
Go
sound
back.
with the sound of his engine, he wouldn't even hear you.
What'd you say? He turns around, comes back around the block. He's like, "What'd you say?" Sorry, sir. I'll I'll say it to his face.
I'm sorry. I'm a bitch. I made a mistake.
Please don't hurt me.
I made a mistake.
I didn't think you'd find me.
I didn't think you knew where I live. I know where you live, Bryan. But anyway, I do think that, with Michael Jordan, I think it's a very high possibility that Michael Jordan could decline because of COVID.
So...
Because he is within that kind of danger age.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, personally, I still think that Space Jam 2 is an enjoyable movie. Like, even with all these, like, different problems and things that I feel could have been bettered if, Space Jam 2 had more time to develop and it didn't feel like it was just kind of, like, glued together rapidly. Right. I still feel like it's a good, enjoyable movie. I don't think I should, people should discourage people to not go watch it.
Right.
It's a fun movie,
It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie to turn your brain off. If you're just gonna sit there and turn your brain off,
it's not The Room.
It's not The Room. It's not like a garbage movie. Mm-hmm. It has substance in there. There's some funny parts.
It's not the Doom movie or something like that.
Yeah, there's some good bits in it. There's some. It's funny, but it's just not a classic. It's not an instant classic like the original was.
No, I don't think sequels can be classics though. Well, that's a lie. Yeah, that's a lie. I don't think sequels have a good chance of being classics.
There you go.
I think that this one just went like it tried to hit the target and it missed by like half like the Earth's distance, and it's never gonna be anything besides a sequel to a fun, entertaining movie that 90s kids watched.
Yeah, watch the first one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do. My only thing is also I didn't like because Bugs even said, I feel like we've done this before. It kind of upset me that they all didn't really know how to play basketball.
Oh, because he had to teach them again.
He had to reteach them. And I was like, you even mentioned that we've done this before. So why are we having to go, like, I thought it would have been interesting if, like, they kept on trying to, like, play the way that Mike taught them. Like, this is how we play. Like, this is it. This is, like, you want the best team, this is how to do it. And then LeBron would have kept fighting it. Mm-hmm. And everything like that. And then it's like, you know what? You're right. I gotta let you be you. And then that's like a thing. Because I think the resolution with his son is interesting. I think like that whole like storyline is
it has a good message.
It has a
I feel
message.
like Space Jam, I think that's what was missing from the first Space Jam is a good family, wholesome message. I don't think it had it. It kind of did, but it was like a little bit...
I feel like that was a Michael Jordan movie.
Yeah, it was a Michael Jordan movie.
It's the stop messing around.
God dang it!
That was an accident.
Stop messing around.
It's the coconut.
Oh God! Stop messing around and continue your thought.
Stop messing around and go back to basketball.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I do feel is kind of like their message in that movie. Whereas in this one was like, let people be who they are. You have to embrace them for who they are.
And don't forget the most important one: you can't earn your rewards if you don't work hard enough.
Exactly. Like, you can't just automatically, instantly gain superpowers or anything like that. You have to work for what you have.
It's got a good message.
It's got a solid message.
It's just the story is not there.
Also, such a bad villain.
Yeah. Don Cheadle's a phenomenal actor. I think he was the best actor there, but I mean you can't really compare him to anyone else.
Don Cheadle is the best actor there. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But
he was fun to watch.
Al G Rhythm?
That's dumb. It was such a I even forgot his name like halfway through the film. I'm just like, I know it's a play on algorithm, but it's like such a stupidly like pun on words.
I told my buddy, because my buddy was like, I haven't seen Space Jam yet. Have you seen it? And I go, yes. And he goes, how did you like it? And I go, the main villain is named Al G Rhythm. And then he goes, is his name Algorithm? And I go, yes. Yeah, it is. And he goes, so I'm not watching that movie.
I think before we wrap up this topic, let's address two different controversies that occurred during the process of this movie.
Right.
And we mentioned this in earlier issues. One of them we actually mentioned in earlier issues. I don't think you were on the show.
What was it?
It was the first one was Speedy Gonzalez being a part of this movie. It was with also Pepe Le Pew, how they had to can him out of this movie because the whole how he was kind of being portrayed and him making advances towards women in a way that wasn't comforting or wasn't comfortable for the audiences. And then the Speedy Gonzalez thing was that
they're cartoons.
They are cartoons. But here's my take on the whole Speedy Gonzalez thing. I love Speedy. Speedy and Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote are my favorite tunes.
Because wasn't Gabriel Iglesias supposed to play Speedy Gonzalez?
He did play Speedy. That was Gabriel Iglesias.
Okay.
The funny thing was that at the end of the movie, after watching Speedy, I don't think it wasn't the best portrayal of Speedy, but it was a good enough portrayal of Speedy that I wasn't mad, and it felt like he really captured the essence of what Speedy is without over emphasizing the whole arriba kind of thing.
Right. I mean, also, these cartoons were made in the 70s.
Yes, exactly. They were generic stereotypes of,
Okay, I remember taking this. I remember having this one class where it was like an art appreciation class, and the professor even said, like, if you were to really go into it, would Romeo and Juliet be okay in this era? Mm-mm. It would be canceled immediately. Mm-hmm. And he goes, but the thing is that Romeo and Juliet is still a phenomenal piece of art. Mm-hmm. And he goes, that's because people are judging it for the time it was created in. Mm-hmm. That's the way that you should be guising, that you should always have for art. And Speedy Gonzalez and the Looney Tunes are art. They are things of the 70s. They are remnants of that. And they're not only that, but also they're not exactly making fun. Uh-huh. They're doing caricatures of people.
But would that argument hold up against someone like Pepe Le Pew?
See, but here is my thing, though, is that I feel like that was a stereotype of French people. It was a hardcore stereotype of French people.
We have like one listener. I think the last time I looked at the chart that tells you, like, oh, where are your listeners in the last like 28 days? We had like 2 people from France. If they come back, they're gonna listen to this and be like, okay, so Nick thinks that Pepe Le Pew was a representation of us.
No.
Noted!
I feel like of the 70s, it's a stereotypical, like, of the time. Of, like, this is who
at least, okay, so the best way to put it is a stereotype of what we believed the people to be like.
Exactly.
It's an over-exaggeration. Yes. Okay, there you go. Not
only that, but why not make the joke then? If you're being if Pepe Le Pew is already being canceled.
Well, he was canceled. He wasn't in this movie.
Yeah, I know. But then why don't we make the joke of having Pepe Le Pew in the movie? He's still kind of like acting that way, but then you have him going like, no, I'm better than this.
Actually, I thought he was supposed to be in this movie because from my understanding, LeBron tells him not to act that way, but they completely take it all out.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a better message.
That's the argument. No, that was the argument. Yeah, that like by taking it out, you're not showing the generation that's pissed off about this, showing them that it's not okay to act in this form of way. Instead, you're censoring it entirely, which was stupid.
Yeah, I feel like LeBron going like, whoa, like that's not okay. Like that compared to everything else, like that's bad.
Yeah.
I think that there was tons of ways you could have done it. I think there's the easiest and funnier way. Like, why not make a gag out of it? Like, make a gag out of it.
Well, that's the thing is that they cancel it completely. Like, my thing is this. Like, I'm not Mexican, so I can't speak about being offended about, like, the representation that Speedy Gonzalez puts out there.
Wait, but you said that you were Mexican. That's why the sombreros were in there.
There's no sombreros here,
I
Nick.
saw a giant
I have
sombrero.
helmets, but they're not sombreros.
Dude, I literally saw a hat on the floor, and I could have swore I heard music when I was coming up.
What kind of music? Play. Tell us. Come on. Hey. That's not.
I saw a hat on the floor. I was like, oh, that's cool. You're telling me that was just something you do?
going back to Speedy. No, but I mean, that's the thing, is that Speedy was cool. And I remember watching his old cartoons. Dude, Speedy was such a badass, man. Like, that was the thing, is that for me, people getting so pissed off about him being like, dude, it's a stereotype of Mexicans and that's not how they are and stuff. Like, I'm like, dude, he dresses up like the old Mexican rancheros in his white, like, getup, his big sombrero and his little red scarf. And he was badass. I don't feel like there was anything to be offended by him.
I feel like there was, like... I don't know, because it's weird, because if you really look at a Speedy Gonzalez, like, episode... Mm-hmm. It's Speedy goes up against a villain and wins.
Yeah.
Always. Like, it's always Speedy is the smarter person.
Yeah, because he was fast.
Because he's smarter and he's faster than you'll ever be. And no matter what, if you're trying to stop Speedy, he's just going to make you look like a fool.
Exactly.
He's just going to make you look like a fool, so what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great representation of Hispanics in Mexican culture. Like, that's awesome. Like, it's an actual... He
was a hero.
It's a main character that shows that he's not a stereotype. He's, like, he can actually, he can defeat a villain. He can be, it's one of the first times you actually have, like, a Hispanic Mexican, like, cartoon. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's on, like, American TV. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. And I think trying to censor Speedy... Trying to censor the Looney Tunes is like trying to censor Family Guy. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Trying to censor South Park.
Yeah, like trying to censor South Park. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And when you're trying to censor them, you're losing all of, like, the fun.
Yeah.
That's inside of these characters because, yes, do they use caricatures? Do they do everything like that? But the thing is that it's built in reality. And then they, they make it, hyper-realistic, or they make it so outlandish that it's just hilarious. And that's what made the Looney Tunes funny.
Yeah.
When you just censor them all together, they're kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed. Before we mention the next controversy, this the other little part of it, I'm going to reset the video portion of it, so if you hear a slight pause, for our audio listeners, we'll be back in like just a second, so here we go. We're back, and yes, it's like time never moved. Doesn't matter. Audio listeners won't even tell. I think they'll tell in the first one because we caught it all late, but like this one, no. Yeah. What's up, Joey? Do you want to come back on the show?
Yeah.
He's like contemplating. He's like, I don't, but I do. He's like made for... Oh, never mind.
Yeah!
He chose. There it is.
He likes me.
There you go, buddy. Second controversy. Lola Bunny.
Okay. That was Zendaya, right?
Huh?
That was Zendaya.
Yeah, that was Zendaya. I didn't mind. I think she was great as Lola. To me, it's super funny that Lola was like the love interest for Bugs in the first one, and then they just completely scrapped that. But what made me laugh the most was people getting super pissed off that they desexualized Lola. And I'm like, why do you need to sexualize Lola Bunny in the second one? I get it.
They did sexualize her in the first one.
They did. I completely, okay, I understand.
But the thing is that they sexualized her in the first one, and then immediately, Michael Jordan just kind of like goes like, what was that?
Yeah.
Like, why?
The one thing, I mean, the line that is most popular from the first one for Lola Bunny is like, don't call me doll, and like walks away.
Yes.
That, and yeah, like, I get it, but also at the same time, like, do you really want to bring that aspect again to Lola? I don't think so, and I kind of liked her here. I mean, I like her in both, but in this one, it felt like she had more character.
But the thing is that I felt, here's the one reason why I liked.
She actually felt like a tune.
But here's the thing, though. There's the reason why I like the first one more than I like the second one a little bit more.
Okay.
Now, mind you, Zendaya does an amazing job. Her Lola Bunny is good.
Zendaya's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But here's my thing, though. I do feel that you can make a female character strong, independent, and also aware of their sexuality. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that was what they did in one. She knew that she was hot. She knows that she's, this like thing, but also she doesn't need anyone. Like, at no point in the first one does she ever need Bugs to
she was the key to make the basketball victory happen. Like, she was an essential player.
Right. And
that was the thing that, forgetting the sexualization of Lola in the first one, like, I didn't have a problem. As a kid, I didn't care. Like, I mean, I wasn't like looking at that. That wasn't the big thing. I mean, for me, it was like Michael Jordan. The tunes were there, and it's basketball.
Oh, so that's what you were getting excited about.
Like the friggin' game, yeah. I mean, what? I was like 6. I wasn't thinking about Lola Bunny's ass. Were you? Okay, that answers a lot of the questions. Thank you for that. But
I didn't say yes.
You nodded.
No, I went.
Audio listeners won't tell the difference, Bryan.
No,
they won't know. You're just stuffing words in my mouth.
I was putting my head. I didn't nod yes. I went back and forth, going like, did I?
You had to think about it.
I had to think about it. I saw.
You didn't have to think about it. You could just said yes or no.
But that's the okay. But that's my point though. You don't have to desexualize her just to make her a strong, independent
But it
woman.
wasn't a bad desexualization. That was the thing that I had. I think that because it didn't fit. Like, that was the thing, is that this is a completely different Lola Bunny. This wasn't like I forget the actress that played Lola Bunny in the first one, but like Zendaya, even though she's like, you know, she's a beautiful actress, I don't think that she tried to play the character that way. And it worked because it straightened not just her persona, but the character itself in the movie. She had a much bigger personality trait here.
Well, the other thing
than just a badass basketball player.
Well, here's the other thing though, is that I feel like the second one doesn't give the tunes any issues. Like, each one of the tunes that's like on the starting lineup, for the most part, kind of has like an issue that they're dealing with, and then by the end of the movie, they've dealt with it. You know, and I feel in this one they just went, the tunes are in there, have fun, and everything else. There was no resolution, there was no growth, there's no movie, really. It's just like, okay, cool.
Here are the tunes. Here's your basketball player. Here's the problem, and it's solved.
Right.
That's it. That's the generic formula of this movie. I mean, overall,
things may have been cut out of it.
Yes, and you can tell clearly that there was a lot of stuff that was being cut off of this. But to kind of wrap up this topic, you're right. It isn't a classic. It's not going to be a classic. I don't think that this is a movie that like 10 years down the line we're gonna pick up and be like, oh, I feel like watching Space Jam 2.
Right.
You know, it's not Space Jam. I don't think it'll ever be Space Jam. I don't think it was in the process of being Space Jam.
You know,
I just think it was like a movie that they wanted to put out there with that name.
You know what I felt while watching this movie?
What?
I felt like this was a movie that was supposed to be direct TV. Like
direct to DVD?
Like straight to DVD or straight
it could be. But you don't want to do that with a big name LeBron, like LeBron.
No, but that's the only thing that kept it from being like that.
So my next question is this to you to kind of wrap it up. Do you think there's going to be a third one?
Yeah.
How many years down the line? I don't think it's going to be within the next like maybe 5 years. It'll probably be like 10 years from now.
I think the way that you do this, if you want to make it like a threequel, if you want to make it
a trilogy,
if you want to make it a trilogy,
the Space Jam trilogy.
I think that what you have to do is you have to let because LeBron James is he's up there. Yeah. He's already nearing the end of his career. Mm-hmm. I give him maybe 5-6 more years, if that.
LeBron?
Yeah.
Okay.
5 may even be too much.
I was gonna say he's probably gonna retire with the Lakers, but okay.
No, and I hope he does and everything like that. But like the way that they run him and everything like that, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe he goes on for another 5 seasons. Maybe he could quit tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. He could just announce his retirement.
Yeah, he could just go like, I'm not going to be coming back.
After this issue posts up online, LeBron announces his retirement.
I would be like, no, my fantasy league is going.
You're going to be like, dang it.
My fantasy basketball team is destroyed. But
2033?
I think that the new generation of basketball players need to come in.
Okay.
And
like the next big one.
And it's like the next big star. Mm-hmm. And everything like that.
Stephen Curry.
To be totally honest, you know who it should have been Kobe.
I think there was a theory that it was supposed to be Kobe.
I feel like that's because I feel like.
I mean, they both have had their legacies, but this is the thing: is that Michael Jordan, he played for 2 or 3 teams, right? He played for 2.
Played for 2.
He played for the Bulls, and then he played for
the Wizards.
For the Wizards, right? Yeah, and then LeBron's legacy, in a way,
I think he might have played 3. May have played 3.
I feel like in Space Jam 2, the NBA was more excited to have someone like LeBron on there because he represented so much. And the intro, even though the song wasn't cool at the beginning, it was cool to see LeBron's journey from like the beginning all the way to where it was now.
Yeah,
And as a Lakers fan, I'll tell you this: I love the fact that it ended with the Lakers because, like, that's right. Give me that LA fame. Give me that LA fame. You know?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because they did the same thing with Jordan.
Exactly. They gave us a little bit of his biography and the whole thing.
The whole thing with like his dad and him shooting and everything like that, and like then it goes down to him becoming the superstar that he was.
Exactly, and I think we got that in a good way with LeBron James here. We got him to go from the Cavaliers to the Heat, back to the Cavaliers. You know.
But the thing is that because I feel like partially what was there from. Okay, there.
I was just watching to see you don't kick the magazines down there.
I'm not gonna kick the magazines.
Okay. Go on.
You and your magazines. Don't worry, your people.
Go on.
Because I feel like what happened in Space Jam 1, it brought everything a lot closer and a lot homier, because what happened there, you know, is closer to real life.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'm unsure of what happened with LeBron James, that whole like coach thing, if that actually did happen in real life, like him going like, you have to have a strong work ethic, that's it.
Yeah.
Or if that's just something that they made up for the movie.
I don't. I think it's his mentality. I think it was his message to the people. That's what it felt like. I mean, is there anything else you want to add to this movie? It's like
It's a meh.
It's a meh.
Honestly, I mean, if you're gonna go watch it, you know what it is. It's a good date movie. It's a good date movie.
It depends on the person you take out.
Maybe, but I mean,
if you feel that Looney Tunes vibe from it, it's like, oh yeah, I know, you know, if they can name you the Fab Five of Warner Brothers, then you should be fine.
What's the Fab Five of Warner Brothers?
Bugs, Daffy, Porky. There's another one.
Sylvester.
Would you really count Sylvester? I was gonna say Tweety.
I would count, because Tweety and Sylvester are both like.
What about Elmer Fudge?
Probably Elmer Fudd too.
But for me, it's Tasmanian Devil.
The Tasmanian Devil.
I freaking love that guy.
I once again.
Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian is pretty huge. He.
The Dodgers in the 21st and a half century.
Yeah, I'm waiting. You know what I would have I wouldn't have minded if it would have been Space Jam, and it was a different sport. I actually wouldn't have minded that, because then if it would have been baseball, if it would have been, you know, anything else, because then it would have explained why the Looney Tunes need to relearn a sport, or why they need to like do other things.
It wouldn't be bad. I just feel like I think the NBA probably had more at stake here, and they influenced that decision to make it happen.
And don't get me wrong. I'm sure that the NBA and everything like
also,
that.
the NFL doesn't need that kind of like promotion.
But the NFL, I wouldn't imagine the NFL. I think baseball is a great place for like the Looney Tunes.
MLB?
The MLB, because, you know, hitting the ball, you know, somebody doing something wacky, like jumping up. Like, I can already see, what was it? I can already see, what's it called? Oh my God. The Coyote.
Wile E. Coyote.
Wile E. Coyote. Like strapping himself to a rocket.
To pick up the homer?
to catch a ball. Or
And
something
he
like
misses
that.
and hits the wall.
And then like he goes through the wall, but he gets the out or something like that.
Or is it Penn Park where they have the green wall, the green monster? What if it's the green monster and then we have the monster, the red monster?
Yeah,
they meet. That'd be fun.
I feel like it leaves itself open to having like these like other sports, because then I wouldn't have connected it to the first one so much.
All right,
I would have left it alone.
Dear Warner Brothers, Nick Valero would like to insert his resume here and promote a different Space Jam for the third one. The Toons no longer play basketball. They will be playing baseball. Minor leagues.
No, because you know what you could basically do? You can make Angels in the Outfield. But with the Looney Tunes.
I swear, if you say for some reason when you said the Angels, I thought of like Angels in the Outfield. I thought about the Anaheim Angels, and I would be so mad if they picked an Anaheim Angels player to be
Honestly, that's besides the point. But what I'm
this is for you, for me, no.
No. But what I'm saying is that his Angels in the Outfield is a really fun movie.
Yes. Hockey.
You can do hockey.
Mighty. Oh, but that's Disney. Disney already did that.
Disney already did it with
the Mighty Ducks. But Space Jam, but ice hockey.
Yeah, like
Dude.
That's why I feel like sport, like changing up the sport, would allow you to distance yourself from Space Jam, but also allow you to like have a good story and stuff like that. Like, you know, oh, they have to learn hockey now, or oh, they have to learn baseball. And then, oh, they're still being their loony selves.
The Toons learned rugby. You've seen them play basketball. Check out the Toons playing cricket.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the reason why basketball was chosen again is because basketball is huge in China.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's the reason.
That was the influence?
If that was the influence to choose basketball again. But so is baseball, though. Baseball is also really big.
Baseball's huge in Japan.
It's huge in Japan. I'm not entirely too sure about China. I know basketball is huge in China. No, it's huge. So, I mean, maybe that influenced it. Maybe that's the reason why you have another one.
Could be. I feel like we should probably wrap up this issue because I'm running out of daylight and the image quality on the camera is not going to look good after a while. Can you see it from here or no?
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can definitely see it. My already chocolate skin is blending.
It's like blending into the background. The only thing you see here is the red microphone.
Yeah.
Honestly, I apologize to our listeners if the audio quality is terrible. I'm going to try my hardest to fix it.
It was okay.
When we listened to it, it was okay, but this is the first time we're doing it here this way. Nick, thank you for being the first person here to join me here and, you know, filming it like this.
I'm so glad I tricked you into inviting me into your home.
We wanted to talk about more stuff. I think we were because there was a lot of stuff. We're recording on Friday the 23rd, July.
We wanted to talk about, like, Clerks and...
Kevin Smith? He's on a roll.
Kevin Smith in general, because, you know, Clerks 3 got picked up by Lionsgate. And, what was it?
Masters of the Universe.
Go watch it. Apparently it's amazing. I got like 15 minutes in the first episode and I'm in.
You're going to watch the first one after we're done here.
Okay, so apparently I'm watching the first episode.
Do this, because I've seen it all today. I binged it. I literally was like at work, and every time I took a break, I'm like, watching it. Watching it again.
I feel like this is going to be a slippery slope, because I feel like your fiance is going to come home at like 2 o'clock in the morning because she's out having fun while we're recording. And I'm going to still be on this couch.
Watching He-Man?
Masters of the Universe. She's going to be like, so you never left.
Dude, it's so good. I wouldn't blame you. I literally watched it. Let me see if I can find the text message stuff, because I was texting her about it because I've been super excited. I said, oh, okay. So I texted her and said, Kevin Smith bamboozled me with the new He-Man show because it ain't a He-Man show. So she says, huh? What do you mean? And I said to her, the original show was called He-Man and the Masters of the Universes, or the Masters of the Universe. This new one is called Masters of the Universe Revelations. It takes place after the series ended in the 80s,
right. But
that's not the bamboozled part, the hints in the name. So she's like, how? Emoji. Look at the title. And the announcement trailer also played a part in the bamboozling. So I've been pretty excited. I've been texting about it all day, and then I talked about it.
If I remember correctly, because I remember Kevin Smith talking about it on his podcast, I think it's about the B characters, not He-Man.
The way it, without spoiling it, the way they do it is interesting.
But
because
I'm right.
I won't say anything. I won't say anything. Okay, I'll leave it at that. You know what? I hope that one day we are big enough that we can invite Kevin Smith on here and we can talk to him.
Oh, I'd love that.
Because the more I pay attention to his work, I feel like Kevin Smith does the work of an actual nerd.
He sold me weed once.
Did he really?
Yeah.
You've met him before?
Yeah. I have a photo of it.
Do you want to say that on the podcast that she sold you weed?
It was at...
Your face just dropped!
Yes, that's fine. He sold me weed once.
Tell me if I should keep it in or not.
No, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I was going to say...
No, because what happened was that when Jay and Silent Bob Reboot was coming out...
Yeah.
Kevin Smith also partnered up with Caviar Gold, which Caviar Gold, which is a brand of joint of like pre-rolled joints.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff. So anyway, what they did is that he partnered up with them, and then he made 3 different brands. He made what was it? Berserker, Snoochie Boochies, and something else.
You might have to wrap up the story because video's about to die in about like 2 minutes.
Okay, so sounds good. So anyway, what ended up happening is I went. Him and also Kevin Muse were both there. I took photos of both of them. They were really cool. They signed a bunch of stuff. They also signed my joint box, and yeah, that's
dope.
And they signed a little sticker. So it's I have a sticker now with it's the it's the old like Jay and Silent Bob cartoons, and at the very top of it, it's Jay and Silent Bob sold me weed, and
that's so great.
And they both signed it.
Watch the show, and then we'll do shorts on our Instagram because that's what we're doing. So because I have my own thing on it, and I'm gonna do shorts on my thoughts on it. But yes, we're gonna wrap up this issue before the video dies. Hopefully, I can get the outro done, and if the video dies, my bad. But thank you guys for listening to this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 57. You guys can find us on our website, keepingupwiththenerds.com, where you can find all our content, anything that comes out, any of the new videos and podcasts. Links will all be on there if you guys want to know us more. Everything will be on there. Find us on socials, Instagram and Twitter, Keeping Up with the Nerds. Again, Rene does an excellent job maintaining those. If you guys are listening to us on audio platforms such as Spotify, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to your podcast, you can find us on YouTube, Keeping Up with the Nerds. We post videos on a weekly basis, as well as the video portions of the podcast on there as well. Subscribe. We're at 62 subscribers. We want to keep growing. Thank you guys for constantly listening to us, to our old supporters. We appreciate and love you all. Nick, is there anything else you want to say? All right, with that said, we're going to wrap up this video, this podcast. Here we go. Are we ready?
Yeah, do it.
This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue number 57. My name is Bryan.
And Nick.
Recording at the Hall, or not the Hall of Nerdom, excuse me, at the Fortress of Geekitude in Whittier, California. We want to thank everyone for listening to this issue and hope to see you all next time.